Hi, I'm David Braben of Frontier Developments. We're a developer from the UK developing Elite Dangerous.
What's it been like working with the Oculus Rift technology?
It's very interesting. It's one of the things that the backers of our game wanted. And to be honest, I wanted. I'm a huge fan of technology. I think we're going to see, there's a lot of talk of virtual reality again. It's something that came and went briefly in the 90s with things like virtuality. But now I think it's here to stay. It's a fantastically immersive experience. And Oculus does a really good job of that. Nearly 10% of our backers have been playing on Oculus Rift. That was a figure that really surprised me. And it was a lot of the backers said they really wanted Oculus Rift support. So we've had it in since December of last year. And, it's astonishing how many people engage you, but also how new an experience, how immersive it does feel.
How are you taking advantage of the fact that virtual reality, how have you designed the game to take advantage of that technology?
Well, the wonderful thing about a game where in the game you're sitting down, in a cockpit, is it feels very natural because you're sitting down. You can look around the cockpit. You've got a glass cockpit. You see the ship swoop and fly over your head. You look up. Around you. You have much more awareness of your surroundings. Because when you're typically playing on a screen, you're looking out of a window that's in front of you, and that's a bit restrictive, or can be certainly if you think of the glass cockpit of a modern fighter jet or a futuristic spacecraft. I think it brings you into it a lot more. And the other thing that we've done is, it's an extra input device. As you look around the cockpit, displays will come to life. So we can make really good use of that as essentially an extra channel to provide control in the game.
For those who aren't familiar with this game, can you kind of walk us through this world and the experience from a VR perspective?
Yeah, so Elite Dangerous is a game where you're given a spaceship and a small amount of money, and you can make your way in the world. You can do whatever you like. You can trade goods between places. You can be a pirate taking the goods off other people who are trading goods between places. You can take missions to assassinate, to escort, all sorts of things. You can mine. You can be a bounty hunter because pirates have bounties on their heads. Or you can do a mix of them. You don't have to choose these from a list. You can just do what you like. And the beauty of doing it in Oculus is the world is so immersive. You immerse yourself in that world, and you get so much more out of it. It's a fun experience, and I think it's going to be a big thing for this year.
Can you talk about some of the diversity in the ships that people will be piloting?
Sure. So you start off with a very small general-purpose ship, which can do just about anything, but you can choose to specialize. You could, for example, buy a military ship. It would be quite expensive. It will be very, very heavily made. There's sort of natural armor in it. It will have a lot of weaponry, or what we call hardpoint space for weaponry. Or you could go to the other extreme and have a glorified van with thin sides, not very good weapons, but a huge cargo hold. So you can make a lot of money from cargo. And essentially as a trader, you could buy a ship, sort of essentially a yacht, a beautiful liner where you carry passengers. Very, very sleek, very, very luxurious inside. Takes really powerful engines, so it's very fast, but lightly built, relies on shields, so you carry a lot of shields but no armor, and very few weapons. So how you specialize is up to you. We think some players will just be explorers and head off into the unknown because we have a giant galaxy where human space is a tiny, tiny part of that.
And speaking of that galaxy, can you talk a little bit about some of the different environments people will be able to explore as they fly through this world?
Well, yeah, so our galaxy is huge, and the human space in the world, the year 3300, even though it's got hundreds of thousands of worlds in it, is still just one pixel if the galaxy is a whole screen. We're in tiny, tiny amount of space, but you can head out into that unknown and discover planets. The other thing is the entire night sky. We've modelled more than 160,000 systems, which are there, and you can see them in the night sky, and some that you need telescopes to see. And beyond that, we use procedural generation to statistically generate it. So you move a little bit away from Earth, and the night sky changes slightly. You move a long way from Earth, so the centre of the Empire in the original Frontier game, a place called Ashenar, is something like 100 light years out of the galactic plane. So on our night sky, we see out into the Milky Way, and it's largely obscured by dust. But you go up out of the plane, you lift, it's almost like lifting above a cloud layer. You can see across the galaxy, and so the night sky looked very, very different and pretty spectacular.
What's it like for you, having started this game 30 years ago in the 8-bit world and then now seeing it as a virtual reality experience?
Well, there's been a long gap, but it's very exciting. It's a game I've wanted to make for a long time, and in the world of publishers, it would be a very hard game to get made. So the opportunity offered by crowdfunding and Kickstarter is great, and that's why I've got to make it, and I'm very, very excited about making it.